Okay, y'all. So this is me back at my channel, um, trying to complete these last parts of our meal on today. So we're having the cabbage, we're having the beans. My son made the mushrooms. He's got to make some more because he ate them all. I made the red, uh, red spicy slaw. I believe that's what I'm calling it, red spicy slaw. The reason I don't know what the names of these are because they're originals. I'm making them myself. Then we've got the mashed sweet potatoes with a mango uh, pineapple chutney, and that's what I'm going to do today. I've baked the sweet potatoes. Going to scoop them out. Going to gently mash them, add a little sweetness to them, and then we're going to chop up and make the chutney that's going to go over top of them after they're warmed up. The other thing I wanted to do, so I'm doing the sweet potatoes for you today, and then I want to do the vegan cornbread that's going to be a part of our meal. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this oven on 400 and start that up. Take this pan out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start that up, and then we're going to, I've got to show you how usually I make my cornbread from scratch, but what I've been doing is buying Jiffy vegetarian. Jiffy has a vegetarian. And then I add to this and I turn it into a vegan. I take it from vegetarian to vegan. So vegan means no animal, nothing in it. So that means, whereas the vegetarian, they tell you to use an egg. I do not use the egg. They tell you can use regular milk. I do not use regular milk. I change it up. So I don't use egg and I don't use regular milk. And I'm going to show you what I use to replace those two items. And then I add a little extra something to it. So that's that. So the sweet potatoes are right here. And we're going to bend the camera down so that you can see the sweet potatoes. They're right here. They've been baked. They're beautiful. I've cut them open. And I'm going to scoop them out and put the meat of these potatoes in a bowl. So we find a bowl. Here's a nice white bowl that I like to use. Push all that back in there. Okay, so here's the bowl. The way I scoop out my potatoes is I just, all I do basically is I take a regular tablespoon like you see right here, and I scoop it out of the skin. I need to just turn this way a little bit. So I scoop it out, and I lay it in here like that. I try not to take too much of the caramelized portion. But it doesn't matter because, I'm going to add a little lemon juice to it and a little maple syrup and some cinnamon. And I'm going to just gently mash them up. But you can see that it's just a beautiful color and they're cooked perfectly. I do not wrap my potatoes in foil. I just wash them, set them on parchment, put them in the oven. The less foil you use, the better off you are, because when you use aluminum to bake your things with or to bake your things in, that aluminum is getting inside of your food, and that is not healthy. Aluminum has carcinogens in it, and so you don't want to keep cooking in aluminum if you don't necessarily have to. Or what I did the other day is I took, when I was baking this plant-based ham for my husband, I put parchment over the ham, and then I put foil over the parchment so that the foil was not touching my food and was not entering, the aluminum from the foil is not touching or entering your food. So just throw that out there. A little tidbit. I know many of you say we like the little tidbits that you give when you are cooking. When you're doing your fabulous cooking, you're giving us fabulous insights on how to cook. So these are beautiful. The meat of these potatoes is coming out beautifully, and it's going to make for a wonderful side dish to go with our beans and our cabbage, our pinto beans, our cabbage, our red, sweet and spicy slaw, Um, and what else did I cook? One of these, I forgot what else I cooked. Oh, I wanted to make, Mel was going to do some more mushrooms, but I want to make some vegan orange chicken. And I got to apologize because I told somebody that corn, spelled Quorn, is a vegan plant-based protein. But it's not. It's just meatless. It's not vegan. It has eggs in it. And so if they use any eggs at all, then it's not plant-based. It was delicious, but now that me and my husband know better, we have gone to Morningstar chicken nuggets, plant-based chicken nuggets, and they are delicious, and they are definitely vegan. But I'm going to take those chicken nuggets, I'm going to bake them, and then I'm going to turn them into orange chicken with sesame, with ginger, with oranges, with all the things you need to make an orange chicken. And it's going to be delicious. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it today. I may have to do it another day. Okay, so I'm done with this. Alright, I've got a little maple syrup right here. Going to drizzle this with some maple syrup. Like so, like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Just a little bit. And some nutmeg. A little bit of nutmeg. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of this lime juice, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. Oh, I didn't poke the hole in it, so I'm going to have to pour it. A little bit of lime juice. Should be just wonderful. And then I'm going to get my retro potato masher. Because I don't necessarily want to whip the potatoes, I just want to mash them, so I have your traditional masher here. I'm going to do it just like this. And the citrus juice from the lime is going to brighten them up, keep them beautiful and bright, just like that. I'm going to just taste them. Yummy. They're just slightly sweet, and that's all we really need. I think I will add, I don't know, I think I may add just a little bit of raw honey. Sometimes I will mix raw honey and maple syrup together. And they're both sugars that our bodies are able to break down easily, as opposed to refined sugars and processed sugars. Natural sugars, our bodies are able to break those down easily. When your body can't break down sugar, it stores the sugar. And then before you know it, you got cholesterol, and you got plaque, and you got a whole myriad of things. When your body's not able to break down the things that you put in it easily. That means they're sitting around in your body, which is not a good thing. Okay, so take a look at those beautiful mashed potatoes. Aren't they gorgeous? Okay. So I've got those there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place those inside of this baking dish. I'll rinse it out just a little bit. Put it inside this baking dish. And then I'm going to place it in the oven at the appropriate time to warm the sweet potatoes up. And we get ready to top them with this chutney that we're going to be using. Okay? And I've got a lid under here somewhere. I don't see it right now. So have to find it. To find the lid. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's the other. Okay, so I'm wasting time. I'm wasting your time. So I need to do this. I want to go ahead and show you the things that I'm going to put in this wonderful chutney that's going to go on top of the sweet potatoes. Now this is my pan for my cornbread. So I'm going to go ahead and put some butter in here. Where's my butter? Where's my vegan butter? I'm going to go ahead and put, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons of vegan butter. I'm going to go ahead and melt that, put that in here while that's melting. We're going to take it out eventually and mix up our ingredients for our cornbread. In fact, I think I better go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back to the chutney. So, I've got 2 boxes of vegetarian Jiffy. I'm going to empty both of these into the bowl here. There's one. And there is 2. Okay, so I've got that. To this, I need to add, it calls for an egg each, so I'm going to do 2 eggs. I'm going to make a chickpea liquid, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I'm going to use, I think I'll use just almond unsweetened milk. And it calls for 1/3 cup of milk, so I'm going to do 2/3 cup of almond milk. I'm going to go ahead and get this almond milk out. Got this almond milk out. I'm going to get me some alkalinized water. So for every egg you're substituting in your baking, you take your chickpea flour, which I think I already have out over here. Chickpea flour. This is the brand that I use. I buy it from Meyer. It's called Pareg, I believe. That's how you pronounce it. It's chickpea multi-purpose flour. Vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free. Okay? So here we go. I need 3 tablespoons of chickpea flour and 3 tablespoons of water to make the equivalent of 1 egg in my baking. So I got a bowl right here. And I'm going to get my tablespoon. So I need 2 eggs. That means I need 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 tablespoons of chickpea flour, and then 6 tablespoons of alkalinized water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? I hope that's him. That is my tablespoon. Sometimes the writing is coming off of the spoon and I grab the wrong size measuring spoon. That's my tablespoon. Okay, so then I just blend it until it's well blended. It begins to thicken. And this is going to create what an egg would create in our baking mix here. So I've blended it. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. And I'm going to add my almond milk. I need 2/3 cup because the recipe calls for 1/3 cup. So I'm going to do 2/3. I'm using my dry measuring cups, which I typically don't do, but today I'm going to do it because you have your wet measuring cup and then you have your dry measuring cup. Here's the almond milk. I'm turning around in circles here. Okay, so this is 2/3, which is what I need for this mixture. The other thing I want to add is I always add a little bit of nutmeg to my cornbread. It gives it a distinct sweetness. Okay, a little bit of nutmeg. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup for some sweetness. 1/4 of a cup pure maple syrup for some additional sweetness, because many of you know Jiffy cornbread is already sweet. Okay, so I've got my milk. I've got my 2 chickpea eggs, nutmeg, maple syrup, and my 5 tablespoons of melted vegan butter. I'm going to take that out, melt it in the pan, and it's melted. I'm going to pour all this in here, the chickpea flour, and blend it together. Now, just so you know, if you're trying to back off of oils like me and my husband are, wherever a recipe, a baking recipe calls for oil, you can use unsweetened applesauce. So if it calls for a cup of oil, you can use a cup of unsweetened applesauce. And there are those times when I have added applesauce to my cornbread. But today I'm going to go ahead and add this vegan butter. Alright, so not only have I melted my butter and are able to blend it in, but my pan is warm and is now greased, so I don't have to add any cooking spray or anything like that. This is where my mother used to cook her cornbread from scratch. She would melt lard in the oven and add it to the cornbread. And the cornbread was delicious, but it wasn't the healthiest version of cornbread. And one of the church mothers at my dad's church told us all the time, the secret to cornbread is how well you beat it. Oh my goodness, man, this cornbread tastes good. And I can taste it because there are no raw animal products in it. No raw animal products, so I'm able to taste the cornbread to see if it's got all the flavor I need in it before I add it to the pan. Now I've got to find my spoon that my son took. Actually, my spatula. So I'm going to pour this mix into the pan. And this is a large round baking pan. I bake my cornbread in round pans and I slice it like pieces of pie or pieces of cake. Okay. So this is going to yield me 8 nice sized pieces of cornbread. I'm going to go ahead and put this in 400-degree oven. It's going to have to cook for about 20 minutes. I may have to turn the video off and come back to you. So that's going to be cooking. I'm going to put the timer on. 20 minutes. Start. Okay, and while that's going on, I'm going to take all this over here. Uh-oh. 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 I'm going to take all this over here. Wipe up a little bit. Put my alkaline water over here. Throw all this away. Okay, so my chutney that goes on top of the sweet potatoes. So in here I have fresh cut mango and I have fresh cut pineapple. And these are the ingredients that are going to go into this chutney. So I'm going to chop those up, add them to a bowl. I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to kind of just do a coarse chop on this mango. 2 nice sized pieces of mango I had already cut up. I'm going to just chunk it like so, like that. Put it in the bowl. Got some beautiful pineapple here. I'm going to do the same thing. Slice it vertically and then go chunk it horizontally like so, like that. Put that in there. And I'm going to add one more. I had already cored and chopped up this pineapple, so it's just a matter of chopping it up. This is going to taste wonderful over. Okay, so that's that. That goes in there. And then the other thing I add to this is some green onion, which I already have in here. Chopped up. I got a little green onion. I'm going to add that to the mixture. And I'm saying a handful is about 2 stalks of green onion. So I'm going to add that in there. I also have cilantro here that I'm going to add. You got to have cilantro. Something about cilantro that will set a raw dish off. So I'm going to chop it up, coarse chop, toss that in there, like so, like that. To this mixture, I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice. I'm going to add a little bit of maple syrup. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh basil. What I have here left, some organic basil. That's going to give it even a more wonderful flavor. So some fresh basil, chopping it up, taking away the stems. Chop this up just a little bit finer because I don't have as much, but you don't need as much. Basil is very aromatic and you don't need a lot, especially if you're using it fresh. Okay, so I'm going to drop that in there. Like so, like that. I'm going to get a spoon. Toss it around. Okay. So we got that. Taste it. Oh my goodness. John. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to add is some red pepper and some jalapeno. So hold your mule for just a second.